Alrighty, sorry for the long wait for the next episode. Been too busy listening to that. By the way, that's a Death Worlder saga, and I'm on chapter 17, part 2. That YouTuber is a pretty damn good YouTuber, if I say so myself. Changing the subject towards this. What is this, effectively? Well, it's the most simplistic diagram that you're ever going to see of one of my construction ideas in regards to, well, building a decent sized spaceship. If one considers something, I don't know, several times larger than a, starship that SpaceX built. Might as well call it spaceship because starship is already taken. Anywho. So, imagine each one of these little blocks or squares or whatever you want to call them twice the size of Starship. SpaceX Starship, with the big fucking booster, however you want to put it. But here's the thing, the only way for that to work, for these little blocks to be twice the size of Starship, is if they're inflatable habitats. Now, imagine these inflatable habitats with welding points, and that's where these little dots come into play. They're supposed to represent welding points. These little lines are supposed to represent, iron bars, steel bars, iron poles, steel poles, whatever you want to call them. And given that space, and given that there's been an incident where, a hatch has pretty much code welded toward, to a, has code welded shut before, and they had to actually cut it open and such, last time I checked. One could basically code weld steel pipes or steel bars or steel whatever iron, preferably iron or steel alloys. Well, iron is an element. From point A to point B. And with the help of welding bits, one could basically, smash them together more or less and create a structure like this. Which, this is where this diagram comes into play. And to be fair, think of it like this. Inflatable habitat, bars attaching inflatable habitats, being up and down. The dark lines are elevators, and the striped lines are is hallways. Basically. And this, as you can see, is airlocks. Now, why am I showing this information? What's the whole point? Reinsurance. Basically. You see, right now I'm 21 years old, technically speaking. My family, on both sides, maximum lifespan, on my father's side, is roughly, on the Frith branch of the entire family, is more or less, maximum age is about 70 years to 80. That's if everything goes well. 70 years if they get, 60 to 70 if they get cancer. Let's see here. 80 if they don't. Then on the other side of the spectrum, my mother's side and such, is well known for people living up to 90 years old and 80 years old. So technically, my lifespan, like it or not, is roughly 70 to 80 years old if everything goes right. Problem. I spent basically 21 years growing up. I need to spend at least, like in this entire scenario here, the only way to fund it is with the help of space mining programs. That would take in itself about about 10, maybe 20 years to get fully operational enough to fund such a project, or to fund at the very least the construction assembly line to build something like this. And to be honest, if this was built in orbit around, the moon or Mars or one of Mars's moons, that would make the cost of building it more expensive. So I'm not worried about showing people this information, but like I said, it's reassurance, because if I were to die and someone were to find this video, they could take it and go, maybe this guy's a genius, or B, go, this guy's a fucking idiot, but the principle behind it seems to be useful. Either way it goes, I still win. Because, people could basically look at it and say, this this design will not work, but the principle behind it, using iron rods, inflatable habitats to basically, throw something together. Yes. It's a pathetic scenario, but you gotta start somewhere. And this little shape surrounding the entire structure is not there for show. As you can see, let's see here. Damn. There's another diagram to show, like a better diagram. Here we go. Here's the diagram. These two diagrams show what that shape surrounding the entire BS is. And this shows, how such inflatable habitats can be built off of. You got inflatable habitats on the inside designed to pretty much be the rooms. You got, the entire inflatable habitat mainly to act like a build-off point, basically. And then you have this, which is basically a metallic structure, being either steel, titanium, iron, whatever. Reason being is armor plating. Armor plating holes to basically decrease the likelihood of pressure loss, and also to, also to, protect the crew from, you name it, I guess. But, Ranger, there's a lot of mass. Well, skyscrapers is a lot of mass, and you don't see them falling. And here's one of the easiest designs, cheapest designs that we could theoretically build using the technology that we have today, being solid habitats, inflatable habitats, solar panels, satellite technology, satellite correction technology, dragon pods, basically, mainly designed for life pods, and starships, as well as ion engines. As you can see, this entire structure would be theoretically cheaper to build than the first structure that I showed you, but still. You can basically pause the video at any moment to try and get a better look at the words I've written. But yes. And yet, someone that lives like this, more or less, I mean, it's not just me living here. But still. But yes, the only reason why I show people information that I do is for reinsurance. And like I said, 21 years, and I basically have, what, 49 years left? And I would need at least 40 of those years to, I don't know, get any of that BS done. And here's the aggravating bit. Do you see me getting out of this house within 9 years? Within 49 years? No, I don't see myself being able to leave this place because I don't have a job. If I had a job, I would not be making these videos. If I had a job, I wouldn't be wasting time drawing this. I wouldn't be wasting time listening to those YouTube stories, which is pretty damn interesting. Go watch one. Doesn't matter. And crap like that. If I had a job, I would not be living here.